Hey there, friends. How are you? It is Friday, 9/11, 2020, 19 years after the 9/11 attack. And I'm doing this video to provide for you two links to archives that I created, one at Facebook and the other at Bright Eon, that provide links to most of the 9/11 videos and film clips that were produced at the time. I carefully archived and saved all of that because I knew it was historic. And I also knew that the deep state that did the JFK assassination had something to do with 9/11, just as they had something to do with Oklahoma City, 95, Ruby Ridge, all of the other terrorist attacks. I have archived as much information as I possibly could. And so those two archive links are down below. And this is a time for remembrance. We have to remember that we, the people who pay the bills and pay the taxes, have been victimized by a secret mafia going back to World War I, 1913, when the Titanic was taken out and the Federal Reserve was instituted, which created an exclusively fiat debt system of currency. Now, the problem with an exclusive use of fiat debt is that they're inclusive and exclusive. If you're outside of the system, you're helpless, okay? Now, back in the 80s, 40 years ago, there used to be a barter system, all right, that was parallel to the regular monetary system. But of course, that had to be shoved aside, okay? We do have pawn shops for liquidating objects. We have thrift stores for conveying used good things. We have consignment shops. We have alternatives, or we had, to fiat currency until recently, so that now only elites who can afford Bitcoin and gold and platinum and palladium, okay, they're the only people who can really barter and do business. Everybody on the street who's waiting for their next paycheck is completely victimized. So that the economic system in the United States has gone from freedom to slavery in the last 40 years, and they never told us that they intended to do it. Now, as you know, I am in Central California, and the fires in California are exactly 100 miles apart, going north to south or south to north. How's that for a coincidence? And also, I have in my archive photographs and a video of the fire locations that show that the homes were burned and the trees were left, all right? That tells you all you need to know about who's doing the fires, and they're not natural. They're obviously not natural, just as 9/11 was not according to the narrative. The official narrative was completely false, okay? And all of the other false flag attacks, the narratives are false. And people who question those narratives are called conspiracy theorists, okay? There are lots of narratives we are not allowed to question. We are not allowed to question, where is the moon relative to the earth? Where is the sun? Okay, is the earth a spinning ball, or is it something else? Maybe not a flat pizza, but what could it be? Who knows? Okay, where is the sun? Who occupies the moon and Mars and the planets and the asteroids? Is there life out there? All of the official doctrines and stories only always support the idea that humanity, we humans are all there is. There are no ETs, there are no angels. There aren't even any Bigfoot. That's all just myths, okay? There never were any giants, right? Smithsonian has seen to it that the evidence of giants in our history has been obliterated. The Nephilim and the red-haired giants in North America before the Asians got here. Okay, never mind the Kandahar giant 2003 that was taken out by the U.S. Army. He was only about 10 or 12 feet tall and weighed half a ton, all right? Half a ton. Okay, all of that information that doesn't fit into the globalist mafia, and the reason I call the deep state a mafia, let me explain that to you. In a mafia, it's set up so that the people who are in favor get facilitated and moved along and helped. But the people who are blacklisted get shoved aside. They are stiffed, stilled, gaslit. They're not allowed to participate in any meaningful way. And that is why, of course, the barter system has been shut down, and the thrift stores are shut down, and the Goodwill and Salvation Army and all those stores are shut down because they only want us to deal with the fiat currency, which is a digital currency that they can shut on and off depending on their mafia judgment, whether we are in or whether we are out. If they don't happen to prefer our behavior, then they can just switch off the switch and we cannot do anything in terms of buying and selling. And this, of course, was predicted in the book of Revelation, that only the people who have the mark of the beast can buy and sell. And that is why this is a generation and a time and an eon and a dispensation in which the ETs and the heavenly host and the Godhead and the, what do you want to call it, the Christos founders and, all these ETs up here are interested in what's going on here, because apparently the Space Force is set up to do business with the rest of the galaxy. Now, we'll either do business based on laws against harm, common laws, or mercantile, maritime admiralty, corporate statutes, mercenary, renegade, rule baiting, all right? And in the rule baiting system, the people are either in or out. They're either allowed to participate or not. But in the English law-based system of monarchy, where the monarch is actually an agency serving as checks and balances, okay, the way the United States has checks and balances between the judiciary, the executive, and the legislative, okay, in the United Kingdom or Britain or England or whatever you want to call it, if they get rid of the office of monarch, there is no agency for conflict resolution, for the checking and the balancing of the powers and the dealing with, openly dealing with conflicts among and between constituencies. If they get rid of the monarchy in England, England will no longer have a culture, because there will be nobody there with powers that are sufficient to confront and require Parliament or their judiciary or their peerage to come to heel in terms of justice or fairness. Okay, and this is what Graham, what's his name, Daddy Dragon, is articulating very, very well on his YouTube channel, that The law has been twisted by the law profession to become the legalist profession and only operate by rule baiting and administrative codes. All right. We have been cheated as to law. The Codex Alimentarius trade treaty is designed to minimize the health-seeking properties of organic food and to maximize the corporate advantages of large-scale commodities production. This is all about influencing trade so that family farmers and small scale farmers have no place in the marketplace, have no way to sell the goods that they produce that are access to their own particular needs. So the mafia at this point that we're dealing with is not just a mafia in the United States, it's not just in the UK, it's a worldwide combine of rich corporations who want to dictate human life to everyone. And I'm not going to sit here and just say that's okay. All right. I have seen what the mafia can do in order to bring a city to its knees, as happened in New York City 19 years ago. All right. And that has happened to Portland, and that has happened to other cities in the United States that are being gang raped by hoodlums in the name of their being pissed off about something. All right. Yet those same leftist communists who want to make the world over don't have a clue what method will actually result in the kind of economy or society or culture that makes any sense to people individually. All right. It's time we took the power away from the mafia. All right. And that's what's going on today. And I'll put those 2 links down below. And I hope you enjoy going through, clicking through. I have 75 videos on Bright Eon that cover false flag events, but mostly 9/11. I guess about 70 of those are the 9/11 videos. And then I have another 10 or so on Facebook. And I hope you'll go through them and remind yourself that the official story is just false from the outset. It's just bullshit. Okay? We have to keep reminding ourselves what was actually true. All right? Whoops, what's going on? Here we go. This has been Emily Windsor Craig, and I'm here to stand for a leadership layer that has the power to resolve conflict, resolve disputes, and make society work again. Thank you. All right. Make